We'll be recording these meetings for our notes and to document our process. The video of each meeting will be uploaded to our project webpage. So we have an agenda of what we're looking at right now, and I'm going to go into our PowerPoint presentation. So Matt, can you see the PowerPoint presentation slides?
Yeah, but it's not full screen.
Okay.
There you go. That's better.
Right, so here's the agenda right here, what we'll cover today. The sounding board roles, overviews of the TSP and schedule, and the meeting may end before 6 o'clock today. This meeting is an introductory meeting. More substantive meetings will likely take the full 2 hours when we dive into the details of the transportation system plan. So the next couple of slides, we'll discuss how to use Microsoft Teams. It's a little clunky at times, and I'm sure you'll see me make some mistakes along the way. So the camera and microphone icons are on the left side of the screen of the slide. If sharing your screen is needed, press the share icon screen, and then Teams can send text, chat messages, and raise your hand for a question. And the more options in the middle of the screen is a useful icon that provides additional functionality to the meeting. You will be able to ask questions throughout the presentation by raising your electronic hand found in the reactions button. And then Matt Herman will be monitoring the function chat to answer questions as well.
And Gary, to interrupt you, David Poland has his hand up.
Okay. David, did you have a question?
Yes, I want to say that the interpreter who is interpreting right now is small, and the person that's off, they're up next to the PowerPoint. So I can't really see good the small interpreter box. Now I can see you. Thank you so much.
So the more actions icons, viewers can turn off and on the closed caption function that allows translation of spoken words. We'll also be having sign language interpretation spotlighted during our meetings. And I am the point person for the sounding board. If you have questions through this process, please contact me through the email. So our team consists of the Transportation Division Manager, Rob Klug, Matt Herman, Mike Salas, Dan Somerville, and Cindy Gonzalez. The sounding board members, we have 9 people serving on the sounding board. We recognize that serving on this board is an extra time commitment from existing committee obligations. So we want to thank all of you for attending and participating to help improve Clark County's transportation system. At this time, the Planning Commission and Public Health Advisory Board were not able to serve on this board, but a member of these committees may join the sounding board in the future. I'll go down the list of the sounding board representatives so that you could introduce yourself to the group. So please tell us your name and experience with transportation. We'll start with Michael Andriotti.
Hi, Michael Andriotti. I am the chairperson with the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. I am a land use planner with AKS Engineering, and I'm also a licensed landscape architect. And I used to be a bike commuter, and once school's out and my kids don't have to be driven to school anymore, I will be getting back on my bike again. So that's largely my experience with transportation.
Excellent, thank you, Michael. Tanya Stewart, you're next.
So Gary, actually, Tanya wasn't able to join us today. So luckily we have Franklin Johnson representing the Commission on Aging that's joining us for today's meeting.
Oh, thank you. Frank, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, Franklin Johnson with the Commission on Aging. I'm a retired civil engineer. I did road design and bridge building for the Forest Service and Department of Agriculture, and glad to be here.
Great. Thank you for showing and spending your time with us. So, Matt, is David going to be with us? Then I would take that as a no.
Yeah, David is here as well as Amy is here as well.
Okay. Amy, can you introduce yourself, please?
Amy, if you're speaking, it looks like you're muted.
Oh, you guys can't hear me, right?
Now we
There
can.
we go.
Okay, I was talking. Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Amy Rourke, and I am on the Community Action Advisory Board here in Clark County, and I'm on the Poverty Reduction Work Group. And what am I supposed to be doing? Something. What was the other question? Sorry, I'm trying to get it on my laptop as well as my phone, so I'm just taking a minute.
And any transportation experience you have?
Well, I've been driving for many, many years here in Clark County. I've done the public transportation. I've rode bikes. I've basically, I don't know, been here my whole life. So I guess.
Perfect. That sounds great. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. And David Poland, you're up next.
Hi, my name is David, and I'm also on the CAB with Amy. I also was born and raised up here in Vancouver, Washington. My experience with transportation, well, my grandparents and my mom, they owned cars, and so they would travel back and forth across the bridge, I-5 bridge to Portland. They had moved here in the 1950s. They saw a lot of changes with the highways and Highway 99. My experience myself, I do not own a car. I ride the bus and I walk. And so I'm also representing deaf community members, so that if they have something they want to share, I would be happy to and willing to tell you about that also.
Great. Thank you very much. And Walt Gordon, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Walt Gordon. I am a retired member of the C-Tran family. I was the manager of ADA Paratransit, which we call here in Clark County C-Van. I was managing that for 22 years. Prior to that, I worked with the Employment and Training Division of Clark County and specialized in working with people with disabilities and seniors. As a side note, I was the first VISTA volunteer in Clark County, and my assignment was handicapped transportation developer.
Excellent. Thank you, Walt, for sharing your experience with us too. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Jamie Housley, you're up next, sir.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Jamie Housley. I'm here representing the Development Engineering Advisory Board. Professionally, I'm a land use attorney with the law firm of Jordan Remus in Vancouver. And I've had vast experience with transportation, both on the planning side, figuring out arterial atlas amendments, capital facilities planning, as well as the practical experience of permitting and doing transportation projects, not only in Clark County, but really throughout the metropolitan area.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad you're here with us. Jay Chester, you're up next, please.
Jay Chester, I'm a representative from the Clark County Parks Advisory Board. My transportation experience is from owning a car and driving a car up here in the last 26 years, last 21 being in Clark County. Also trails advocate. I've been on many of our trails around and look forward to seeing how we can integrate trails into our roadways and make them compatible. Oh, and I'm a licensed civil engineer in the state of Oregon and by education. So
Great. Well,
that's
thank
it.
you. Yeah, that's good. We got some common goals ahead of us then. I'm excited. Daniel Weaver, you're up next, sir.
Good evening. I'm Daniel Weaver. I'm the chair of the Railroad Advisory Board. Have been that on the advisory board for approximately 18 years and the chair approximately 15 years. I'm also the chair of the Board of Equalization, and I've been that chair for about 8 years. Been on that board about almost 15 years. I also have I've lived in two of the worst transportation communities in the world, Los Angeles and New York. So I know what transportation is all about there. But I'm a retired CPA, as I said, and I'm on the railroad. I've been involved in several of the issues related to use of the railroad and the interface with the highway and the development of overlay property development for the railroad. And looking forward to serving with the folks here.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing your experience here too with us. Linda David, you're up next.
Good evening, I'm Linda David, and I work as a senior transportation planner with the Southwest Washington Regional Transportation Council. I've been a resident of Clark County for 37 years now, and I have got 35 plus years of transportation planning experience. Most of my work has been involved in developing the regional transportation plan and updating the plan, and that's the long-range 20-year plan for Clark County. I've also been involved in developing the Human Services Transportation Plan, addressing special needs transportation. And I'm currently involved in developing the Active Transportation Plan, planning for pedestrians and cyclists in the Clark County region. I also developed the planning work program for the Regional Transportation Council. I've been involved in transportation corridor studies, and I'm also currently involved in developing the federal transportation performance measures.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda. This is nice. This is I'm excited to work with this sounding board. We've got a lot of great experience, and I think we'll have a good time developing this transportation system plan. So this slide covers the overarching umbrella of public input. The sounding board informs staff with diverse perspectives and comprehensive problem identification. The staff team presents information to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission, I'll call them PC. The PC makes recommendations to the County Council for final decisions. We will also be seeking the Development Engineering Advisory Board recommendation. However, this slide shows the Growth Management Act requires requirements for adoption. And the Transportation System Plan will help Clark County make transportation decisions. And so I'll just refer the Transportation System Plan as a TSP. So the TSP closes the gap between policy decisions and implementation. It will provide a snapshot of the existing system, immediate changes, and future plans. A TSP will include a long list of projects and initiatives for upgrading and enhancing the transportation system, including automobiles, freight, transit, bicycling, and pedestrian improvements. The TSP will capture the roles the Clark County Public Works 8 separate divisions have in developing and maintaining the transportation system. The TSP combines transportation policies enacted in the comprehensive plan and several transportation-related documents. It's a holistic transportation approach rather than a piecemeal approach. What we see is there are several transportation documents in the county that discuss transportation. We have Arterial Atlas, Capital Facilities Plan, the Transportation Improvement Program, Transportation Safety Management Plan, Aging Readiness Plan, and the Clark County Bicycle Pedestrian Master Plan. Our goal is for the TSP to bring together various transportation-related plans and ultimately serve our residents and businesses. We have created an interactive story map to use as a public involvement tool for developing the TSP. We also have a dedicated web page for the plan. Both the story map and web page will continually be updated throughout the plan development. And I will share the story map and how to navigate the various interactive functions. I'm not sure if anyone has had a chance to take a look at it, but I'll have to see how this works through this link. Here we go. Is the story map showing up? Matt,
Yeah,
can you see?
it is showing up, Gary.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So the story map has tabs on the top of the story map. So it's got transportation plan, introduction, community data, existing conditions, and resources. So I'll just quickly scroll down. What is a transportation system plan? It's basically what I just talked about. So you can go back and look at this another day and share it with others. Oh, sneak peek. And then community data. So the community tab data, I've taken components of the community health web page and incorporated it into our web page. Ooh, how's this working? Well, it doesn't look like this is working very well from here. Oh, there we go. It should show you maps at some point. You just got to kind of keep scrolling down. And I can't see him from here. That's great. Maybe you'll have better luck when you go to look at it. All right, well, you get the gist of what I'm trying to show you. And then we've got the existing conditions tab. So in the existence tab, we've got sub-tabs below it. But existing conditions, and there are layer functions on here that allow you to toggle on and off layers. I can get, if it pulls up, I will show you that. Matt, do you see the box that says people are waiting in the lobby on my screen?
Yes, sir. I've been admitting Amy. I know she's waiting. I continually hit
No,
the.
I'm here. I just am trying to get it on my laptop instead of my phone,
Oh.
and it's just not working. So I shut it down. So sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
And I'm trying to move this box. It's like just right in the way of touching. Move. There we go. All right.
Gary, this is the one of the interpreters. David is asking for the other interpreter to be spotlighted because at the moment only one can be seen. And we're about to switch.
Okay. Matt, can you get that?
Thanks much.
Welcome. So we can toggle off these different layers. And then the same would go for we've got an auto tab, shows the level of service. We've got a freight tab. We're able to show the first last mile connector routes for freight. We've got a C-Tran tab. No, it's not what I want. All the bus stops. And we've got some demographic layers on here. We've got demographics for a disability layer. And it all looks like a mess until you start turning off some of these layers so you can focus on what you want to see.
Also, when you're showing the entire county, it looks like there's a bunch of layers that are, but when you can zoom into each individual parcel and see the property's unique characteristics when it comes to transportation as well. It's intended to be interactive, and I think as you navigate it, it becomes more user-friendly. It's a bit intimidating, the initial look at it, though.
And it's a little challenging going from the story map to the video feed. There's a lag time between that. It's the current land use, the comprehensive plan designations, and the zoning designation. All right, so that's that.
Gary, can you
Yes.
start from the Clark County homepage and show the sounding board how to navigate to this?
Can you see the Public Works webpage, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so let me go back another tab. So from our transportation system plan page, you can learn more about the TSP through the interactive story map. So does everyone see it? So if you click on the story map button, it'll take you back to where we were just at.
Sorry, can you go back to the web page, please? And scroll up to the top. So when you arrive at the Clark County homepage, you'll have this top banner that says, "How do I services departments?" Within departments, you'll click the Public Works, which you'll get to this website. On the left-hand side, then you'll expand the transportation section, go into transportation planning, and there you'll find the projects that we're currently working on. The transportation systems plan is the project that we're getting the sounding board's involvement on. And this will take you to our meeting information, as well as sounding board agendas, the presentations, and also the interactive story map that Gary displayed.
And we're working with our IT department to have this turned into more of a calendar look. So hopefully that will happen sometime soon. So it might look a little different next time you see it. So this slide demonstrates how a TSP will function within the framework of existing plans. The Washington State Growth Management Act requires Clark County to have a comprehensive growth management plan that serves as the base for our TSP. Its transportation element provides information for the TSP that guides the capital facilities plan. That's a 20-year plan for future transportation improvements. The transportation improvement program, it's our funded 6-year component of the 20-year capital facilities plan, and implementation practices. The TSP is designed to guide and provide feedback and direction that helps improve safety and mobility to Clark County residents. And this slide shows a description of the scope of work along with start and end dates. So we're currently in the process of the transportation analysis. And in October, we'll move into the performance measures and start the multimodal transportation system framework. And in January, we'll work on the solution development, evaluation, and funding strategies. In September of 2021, and an equity and inclusion analysis in March of 2021. We're currently in the process of moving towards having an RFP sent out. Matt, can you talk about that for a second? Is Michael here? Mike? Nope.
So it's the RFP is a request for proposals. We'll be going out to seek proposals on getting guidance for getting connected to entire community so that we get a broad range of public feedback that helps us inform this plan. This was adopted as part of our public participation plan with the council. And we'll be moving forward. The role of the sounding board is of utmost importance because it helps us inform our transportation analysis and our recommendations moving forward. We will use the sounding board's feedback to gain consensus and inform our elected officials of the community's desire for the transportation system.
Exactly, thank you. And then the goal is to have the adoption process begin of April 2022. So here's our sounding board schedule. So during the monthly topic, we will discuss existing, I'm gonna step back a second here. I'm getting ahead of myself. So our sounding board meetings are on the third Tuesday of every month. Our plan is to have one topic per month and have a follow-up conversation the next month discussing consensus. We think the structure will provide the sounding board the ability to provide feedback efficiently to the topic of the month and gain consensus of each topic the following month. So during the monthly topic, we will discuss existing goals and policies, current practices, implementation, existing conditions, identified deficiencies, and sounding board feedback. Sending emails is always an option to provide feedback for those who want to digest the information before providing immediate feedback. And I get that. So if you're not comfortable saying something during the meeting, you're welcome to send me an email and we could include it in the feedback the next month. So the monthly agendas will include an attempt to gain consensus on the previous month's topic. If we cannot reach consensus, we will document the outcome and where the consensus was not reached. And on March 2nd, 2021, this last early spring, Clark County Council adopted a public participation plan for the TSP. A public participation plan is a communication tool that provides members of the public opportunities for early and continuous participation, provides public access to key decision-making processes with Clark County Council. The plan describes the steps that Clark County will take to provide opportunities for public engagement and public participation, as well as county contact information and web addresses. This plan fulfills the public participation required by Clark County Code. Section, it's just Clark County Code. I won't go into the details of the code, but if you want to, I have them available. The public participation plan is scoped to provide the broadest means of public input. We truly want to hear from our residents, not just fulfilling the basic requirements. So this concludes our presentation, and thank you very much for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And please raise your hand, your digital hand, to ask any questions.
So Gary, you should mention to the sounding board that today's agenda is smaller than it will be. This is really intended, today's meeting is to be an introductory to gain familiarity with the process, where we're going, the aim of the steering board, and get you all contact information for us so that you can reach out to us at any time.
So, and we definitely didn't intend this meeting to last 2 hours. So if we don't have anything else to discuss, we can just.
So Gary, Walt has raised his hand for a question.
Okay.
Yes. Will you be sending out an email that will give us the contact information of all the participants so that should we want to email them or talk to them, we can do so?
We can do that.
I would appreciate it.
You bet.
Linda, David has a question.
Linda.
Linda, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Better. Is the TSP focusing just on the unincorporated portion of Clark County or the entire county?
Well, we'll look at the unincorporated areas of Clark County, but we'd like to look at it holistically. So without having jurisdictional boundaries, kind of like how we looked at the shoreline when we did the shoreline management program with the county back in 2012. So we want to look at just holistically how all the system functions together. And then, once it comes down to policies that the county can do, we'll focus on the unincorporated and the rural area.
So, sorry to interrupt.
And you said that the TSP will include a long list of projects. I'm assuming the projects will just be unincorporated Clark County projects. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's a good point.
And then we know that Vancouver and other jurisdictions are currently developing transportation system plans or updating plans. So I'm assuming, again, there'd be coordination between all of the TSPs that are being developed at the moment.
That is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very good point, Linda, and I want to reiterate that Clark County, our Clark County Public Works only has jurisdictional boundaries in unincorporated Clark County. So that's Clark County outside of the city and town. Our goal is for our residents and our businesses to not know where those jurisdictional lines lie and to make it a seamless transportation system for folks, that they don't have to worry about the difference between traveling inside and outside of our respective cities' jurisdictions. But it is a good clarification that we do only have control over our roads in unincorporated Clark County, not in the cities or town of Yakult. Then David, you have a question?
Can you hear my voice okay?
Yes.
All right. So I was just curious about not only the introduction today, but also one of the last weeks, we're talking about feedback, consensus about diversity, equity, and inclusion. How will that look, and how do we as members of the board assist in the general public's inclusion in that diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I could actually answer that if that's okay, guys.
Yes, please. Thank you.
My name is Mike Salas. I've worked with these guys relatively closely for TSP and other transportation projects. But basically, we are putting out an RFP to have a consultant come up with a plan for us that will be incorporated into the public participation plan. So that's one of the things that we wanted to do to make sure that things aren't missed when we're going through the process of public participation. And with that said, then you guys will be part of the sounding board to make sure that we're on the right track, going in the right direction with the consultant that we have for that part of the participation plan. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that partly answers my question, because I know people kind of throw out those words. They're kind of like buzzwords right now. Only a few people really understand in depth what that means, because it's really complex. Everyone is a part of diversity. Equity is not the same as equality. And inclusion, right. A lot of people are not going to feel included, no matter if you say, hey, this is the meeting time, you're welcome. There's different ways that our different diverse cultures need to be contacted well in advance. And that's why when whatever happens is in future plan to happen, I want to know how I can be involved to assist with that, because I know, like, the deaf community, the blind people, and the deaf also have different intersectionalities as well. Black, Native American, Latinos, immigrants, Russians. So I just want to know how I can be involved before that time happens.
David.
Go ahead.
David, so can I give you an example of what we're thinking? So
yes, I love
right now, all we count are vehicles. So when it comes to congestion, we just look at vehicles. So is that equitable? Is that fair? What about people that bike and walk? Like, we don't have counts for them. So the goal is, for an equitable system, that everyone has the same options to get around. Just because I choose to ride a bike or go walk, why is it that the car has preference over me going through the signal? Why do I have to wait 4 minutes to get across the street? So that's what we're going to look at, is we want to holistically look at how the whole system functions, and find an equitable approach. We don't have a baseline for any of this stuff, so it's all new stuff that we're thinking about how it would work. So I'm glad RTC is at the table with us, because the travel demand model focuses mainly on vehicles. I know it has the ability to look at bikes and pedestrians, but maybe it's time that we move to a different system.
The interpreters are going to switch for a second here, so I want to just kind of clarify. It's good that your example, because that helps me understand what your perspective is by the words that you're using. Is right now the counting numbers are focused only on car drivers and not all the other ways that people that live here and work here and retire here use the system to go around, do their daily lives, and that is important. But also, like, for example, with people that are walking on the sidewalks who are blind, and people that ride the bus who are deaf and deafblind. There's some examples also with the system that we have right now. It's kind of broken. So, anyways, thank you so much for your example. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Mr. Weaver, you have a question?
Yes, before each session that we have, will a comprehensive outline of the topic be handed out or presented before that so that we have opportunity to be thinking about this and respond during the discussion that we have?
The goal is to send it out a week before
Okay.
the meeting. So that's what we're going to aim for is a week before the meeting, we'll send out an agenda with all the topics we'll cover.
So yeah, we plan on sending out all of the information, including the presentation and examples of our analysis, and get your feedback on that, as well as different examples that you may have for us or different ideas. The attempt is to engage you in the topic of the month, let you absorb the information, submit comments to us when you have time to think about it and absorb the information. And then we will process that the following month with the group at large.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, you have the next question.
Yes, I'd just like to follow up a little bit on some of the points that David was making. As you look at census trends, we're going to be moving toward more aging citizens. And that means that there's probably going to be some increase in bicycle and pedestrian traffic, and maybe some of those people might be moving away from cars. So is there any mechanism to factor in census trends and how that may shift your transportation planning down the road?
Absolutely, we're looking into all of that right now. So it's and the 2020 census just came out, and we're definitely aware of the possible change of, well, the Clark County's population is aging, so we're aware of that. And the transportation system needs will change too, and we're aware of that. And also, the other factor is in the future, automated vehicles, driverless cars. I mean, so these are all policies that we'll have to make recommendations for to change, because we really don't have anything on our books for that right now. So this is stuff that we will cover and discuss during our transportation system plan development.
And the goal of looking at this holistically as a system rather than a piecemeal approach is to make it so that the transportation system responds to its citizens and its residents rather than having the residents adapt to the transportation system. So included in that is going to be demographic data based on who uses each mode as we go through it, and especially for freight, it's going to be the development of industries that will utilize the freight network as well.
And may I just ask a quick follow-up question?
Sure.
Forgive me, I'm the new guy, so I may be asking some elementary questions for some of them. You say you only deal with the unincorporated areas of Clark County. So do you interact or interface at all with either the NTSA, or if there's a future Columbia Crossing project, would you interface with them?
So that currently is not in our scope of work. The Clark County, unincorporated Clark County, does not have jurisdiction with any land that crosses the Columbia River over into Portland. We simply do not have jurisdictional authority for those crossings. Those crossings are a bi-state and statewide of regional significance. So it's really starts and ends with the states rather than the county.
And it's not a bottom-up approach. But regional transportation will be discussed in the TSP, and it's like Matt said, it's if we don't have jurisdiction over it, and right now our county council has not given us direction.
So would you also not interact with the Neighborhood Transportation Safety Alliance?
Well, so we interact with the city of Vancouver. So I mean, we're any way we can work with them. It's fine. We haven't closed them off at all. So it's if there's something that we can learn from them. I know they've got a great neighborhood traffic calming program, and we're looking into something like that in our transportation system plan, because right now we don't have one. So that's something that the NTSA can share with us, and we can use this synergy on that to create a seamless neighborhood traffic calming program or a neighborhood traffic plan.
And we do have continual coordination with the City of Vancouver, Camas, La Center, Washougal, Ridgefield, and Battleground and Yakult. It's important for both us as well as them to coordinate our activities so that we do develop a holistic, seamless transportation network.
And it is a requirement from the Growth Management Act that we coordinate with our jurisdictions within the cities. So we will bring them along as well. So it would be nice if all of us have a similar system when it comes time for developing a transportation system plan. And if we get into any kind of travel demand models, we all have the same approach if we come up with a different travel demand model or make a recommendation for one.
Is there any more questions?
I think that seems crazy because we're so much part of PDX that they don't have. I don't understand that really, why we wouldn't. So that even includes our public transportation that goes over the bridge?
So our public transportation is coordinated through CTran. CTran does that. What we're saying is Clark County's jurisdiction does not include travel over the city. There could be coordination in the future between both states' departments of transportation, but not necessarily with Clark County Public Works.
Also, I was going to ask, I was trying to put it in the messenger thing, but my message thing is not working. Can I get hard copies of those that you said you'd send out emails a week earlier? Is there a way I can get a hard copy of that?
Yeah, I'll coordinate with you afterwards and get your address so that we can send you hard copy information.
Thank you.
Matt, if I could add on to the jurisdictional explanation just a little bit. Correct me if I'm speaking out of turn on it, though. I think an important note in this is, while, as Matt and Gary have just explained the nuances of what jurisdiction the county does and doesn't have in certain areas, it'll of course be important for us to consider interstate and regional travel demand that is flowing through places where we do have jurisdiction. So I guess that's to say, we're certainly not discouraging us to consider travel that is going to be, coming over the bridge, transit routes going between us here in Clark County and south to Portland. But it's more so, while we will be taking that into account, there will be certain aspects of, because of our jurisdictional boundary, we may have more or less capacity to create specific projects or make specific recommendations to address those. So for example, we may not have jurisdiction to respond directly to changes in the interstate bridge crossing, but we will be wanting to make sure that we're accounting for how that's impacting travel just north of that.
Perfect, thank you. Linda, looks like you have a question.
It's not so much a question as a comment. I just wanted to reassure members of the Sounding Board that there is a regional transportation plan that does address the whole of Clark County and bi-state transportation needs. And the Regional Transportation Council, which I'm a member of staff of, has close connections with Oregon, Oregon Metro and Oregon Department of Transportation representatives sit on our board of directors and on our technical advisory committee, and the same goes for Clark County, City of Vancouver, and Regional Transportation Council are represented on Metro in Portland's Transportation Advisory Committee and policy committees. So there is a lot of bi-state interaction and travel demand planning.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Mr. Gordon?
Yes, I just want to reassure everybody, remember that CTRAN by its bylaws has representatives from all of the cities, all the cities within Clark County, and representation from the county council. And so while there may not be jurisdiction, there's influence and awareness that the county will have along with the other municipalities. So I can see that there'll be some type of interaction and some type of degree of influence, especially since a lot of the aspects of interstate public transportation is governed by the referendum or governed by elections. So there's that coming into play as well.
Exactly. So when it comes to public transportation, so we'll look at the bus stops because that's available to us. We'll look at the lines. So we'll look at how easy it is to access a bus stop within a quarter mile radius. And then the frequency of the lines is, that changes between during the week and the weekends. So that's something that we could make known and hopefully come up with some policy choices to help encourage and influence CTRAN to make some choices that are more equitable. And I don't want to say much about it because it's a touchy subject, and but we acknowledge it, and we will work together to come up with a better system plan for all of us.
And it is in our schedule to address.
This is the interpreter speaking. We're going to switch interpreters right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
While they're doing that, I have a quick question. It's Amy. Is there any way that, like, I don't know if this would have anything to do with that, but I think that we should have, like, every 5 years or maybe even 10 years where people have to go in and refresh their memory on the driving laws and stuff like that. Currently, I'm going to lose my driver's license because some person stopped in front of me for a school bus they weren't supposed to stop on a 3-lane road. And I rear-ended them because I didn't know that they were stopped because they weren't supposed to stop. But I mean, stuff like that. I mean, some people just forget laws and or maybe even signs or something, that I don't know.
No, I agree. No, yes, people do forget laws, and education is a good thing to have.
Retired sheriff, if you think he would know, huh? Sorry.
No, yeah, education is a good thing to have, and that's definitely something that all of us need to work on and raise awareness of. And I'm sorry to hear about your situation too.
So Gary, I'm not seeing any other hands raised.
All right. Well, is it time to call the meeting to a close then?
There's no more questions.
I think that's it. Then this is the end of our first meeting. So thank you very much for taking your time and spending it with us on this Tuesday evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. And you're welcome to email me with any follow-up questions that you have.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome. Goodbye, everybody.
And Matt, my address, right?
Yeah, I'll reach out to you through email so that you don't have to give it over this recording.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Bye.
you, interpreters.
Yeah, thank you very much.